and welcome. I'm Millicent Naka. Tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari arrives in Washington, D.C. ahead of his meeting with Donald Trump. Presidency hints that the meeting will center on security, especially the fight against Boko Haram. Police confirm explosion in the residence of the President General of Ohaneze Indigo, Chief John Nwodo, vows to bring perpetrators to justice. Lawmaker representing Kogi West, Senator Dino Melaye, retains his seat in the Red Chamber as process to recall him fails. And U.S. Secretary of State confident of deal with North Korea on denuclearization. We begin tonight with President Muhammadu Buhari, whose arrival in Washington, D.C. in the United States for his scheduled meeting with President Donald Trump at the White House. Well, he touched down earlier in the day at about 1:35 p.m. Nigerian time and proceeded to the Blair House, where he is lodging. In a statement, the president's spokesman, Mr. Garba Shehu, says the meeting between Presidents Buhari and Trump will center on security, especially the ongoing fight against terrorism. The statement reads, "It is important to know that beyond the symbolism of the visit, there are important matters affecting both countries that will be placed on the table when the two presidents meet. We have the understanding that the two delegations have their agenda clearly spelled out, and there will be interest and focus on the matter of security and safety, focus on trade and investment, and focus on democratic development in our country," end of quote. Mr. Shehu noted that Nigeria had previously not received the desired cooperation from the U.S. in the fight against terror, especially during the Obama administration. A pro-Buhari group had also staged a rally outside the president's official lodging to demonstrate their support in his fight against corruption and for his re-election. The controversy over the purchase of the 12 Tucano aircraft by the federal government, which has generated several controversies in the National Assembly, is already getting even a wider attention. The chairman of the Governors Forum of the main opposition party, PDP, Mr. Ayodele Fayose, says most of the governors of his party are not in agreement with the withdrawal of the $496 million. Mr. Fayose says his state is challenging the decision of the federal government in court, the approval of the money, which he describes as an executive rascality. But the spokesperson of the Buhari campaign and a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Festus Keyamo, has disagreed with the stance of the Ekiti State Governor. Mr. Keyamo says the decision to spend the money is not impeachable, and it is an urgent decision simply falling under the doctrine of necessity. Well, both of them were guests on our political program, Sunday Politics.
In Nigeria, we have what they call the Federation account. Supreme Court judgment says all akuras must go to that Federation account. That's the Supreme Court judgment. And be shared by 3 tiers of government. Supreme Court nullified the excess crude account, which means all akuras must go into a central purse, where the federal government will take their share, the state will take their share, the local government will take their shares. You might tell me, yes, in the days of Jonathan, they did that. The fact that something was done at a given time does not mean that is right at all times.
What has happened in the past 1 week is pure politics, and it's just a storm in a teacup. Because if you follow the politics of the excess crude account since the time of Obasanjo, and that was in 2004 that account was opened to take care of, to accommodate, the excess of budgetary anticipation in respect of our crude earnings. All the past presidents have spent from that excess crude account without, reference to the National Assembly. They only go to the National Economic Council. The National Economic Council made up of all the governors in the Federation, and they agree on how the money should be spent, and the money is spent. Now, let me tell you something also, that it is not all constitutional infractions that are gross, that amount to gross misconduct that will lead to the impeachment of the president.
In other matters, the police in Enugu State have confirmed an explosion at the country home of the President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Chief John Nwodo. The blast is said to have caused some minor damage on parts of the building. Operatives of the Police Explosive Ordnance Department arrived at the scene where they collected samples from the debris for analysis. Confirming the attack, the police commissioner in the state promised to unmask those behind the incident, describing them as enemies of progress. A statement from the Enugu State Police quotes the commissioner as saying, "We thank God that there is no loss of life nor major destruction. We have to be more vigilant and security conscious and be able to partner with security agencies to ensure that there is no repeat of such an incident." End of quote. Chief Nwodo, who was not at home when the attack happened, commended the police commissioner for his prompt arrival on scene for an on-the-spot assessment. At least 14 people have been killed and 13 others injured in an attack by armed bandits in Jaruwa community, Kaduna State. According to locals, the attack happened Saturday afternoon when gunmen invaded a mining site located in the community, opening fire on the miners. Meanwhile, the police commissioner in the state, Austin Iwa, confirmed the incident but explained that only 10 bodies have been recovered at the scene. He says bodies of the victims have been deposited at the General Hospital mortuary in Beningwari, while those injured have been taken to hospital for treatment. The police boss has advised residents to remain calm as more troops have been deployed to the affected community. It is not clear why the bandits stormed the mining site, but sources say they were on a revenge mission over the alleged killing of their gang members by local vigilantes. The attack is coming barely a month after 11 soldiers and 2 policemen were killed in the same community by suspected armed bandits. The Nigerian Army and lawyers in Benue State have opened separate investigations into the invasion of Naka Township on the 18th of April 2018 by soldiers allegedly from a military formation in Makurdi. The army delegation, led by Brigadier General Joshua Animio, at a meeting with the traditional ruler, expressed its willingness to hear from all sides of the crisis. On their part, the Nigerian Bar Association and its technical evaluation partners from the Benue Valley Initiative condemned the alleged attack on Naka residents, describing it as a criminal offense.
Perhaps this signpost is the only significant landmark left to identify Naka Phase 2. Homes and businesses that hitherto existed here now lay in ruins. Channels Television spoke with 47-year-old Teeso, a father of 5 who now sleeps in the open after his house was completely razed down. His brother, who witnessed it all, accused the army of threatening to kill him if he defies their order not to remove any of his belongings. As the NBA and its technical partners move through the ravaged town, owners of the burnt homes and food banks are seen salvaging whatever could still be useful, as hunger and starvation now stare them in the face. Both the NBA and the technical assessors agree that it was wrong to have harmed the alleged soldier, but the army went overboard to visit collective punishment on the people, especially when 5 suspects had already been arrested.
Actually, somebody was killed, and the Teetoshin, as we met him, got the suspects and took them to the Nigerian Army 72 Special Forces. And now that they got the suspects, they had no business coming to visit any punishment on the community here.
So we intend to ensure that these people get justice by either going to court, setting up, impressing on the government to set up a commission of inquiry to investigate the causes of this invasion.
On the other side of town, the army delegation meets with the traditional ruler who presents his case against the army, as he is assured of an impartial investigation.
He told me very, very vehement and in strong terms that he is under intense pressure from the army headquarters to overrun Naka, if not because of my presence. He would have allowed it done so, but I said, but my people called me that troops are already in the town, in Phase 2 location, carrying out havoc He did not say much, but said, well, it can't be his troops. He denies so faintly, but his countenance depicted of somebody who's guilty.
Both investigations running concurrently, victims of Naka invasion and the family of the alleged murdered soldier are looking forward to justice and compensation.
Residents of Uvwie Kingdom in Efuru Uvwie local government area of Delta State and the Nigerian army are embroiled in a dispute over a portion of land. They are protesting what they describe as the illegal acquisition of their land. The protesters have proceeded to remove signposts allegedly placed by the army at strategic areas in their community and are asking the government to come to their rescue.
Angry men, women and youths of Ohaneze community in Uvwie local government area march through the streets in protest against the alleged encroachment on their land by the military. From there, the protesters proceed to the controversial land in question, pulling down signposts erected by the army along with the other ones they can find. For over a decade, this piece of land has been a bone of contention between the army and the community. They claim the army illegally appropriated more than what it was originally allocated, encroaching on their ancestral homes.
After the House of Rep committee investigating this matter, put an order that the army should stop further invasion, selling, leasing and development of any project on this land until the determination of the matter in Abuja.
The residents are concerned that most of the buildings on the disputed land have been marked for demolition by the Nigerian army, including this school.
The acquisition of land of the military, today they speak, happened in 1976. Now, military are now claiming that the land was acquired by them before Ohaneze came in. It is a lie.
This old woman is among residents on the verge of losing their ancestral homes.
We will not allow the army to oppress us because we do not have ammunition and guns to fight with them. All they feel, we are just a dot in the Nigerian map. Please, we are begging the community and army and say, to leave our land alone.
At the palace of the traditional ruler, all is quiet, a complete contrast to the rage on the other side of town. The traditional ruler claims to be completely unaware of the action taken by his people, but he's nonetheless on their side.
It appears that the army is taking us for granted. The NNPC, the WROPC, Nigerian Gas, all of them are here. If there's any violent decision, of course, the nation will be affected. And I will not contribute to such violent attitude.
The state government is also aware of the dispute.
The reason why the military, of course, is also deployed to some of these areas is to assist the regular police and other security agencies to maintain the peace. And we just do hope that our people will also give them that cooperation for them to be able to ensure that we all live peacefully. At the same time, we are very, very mindful of the fact that the military too will respect the demands and aspirations of our people.
Meanwhile, every effort to reach the army has proven abortive, but a military source that prefers anonymity insists the land belongs to the military. According to the people, the land in question, measuring over 5,000 acres, was illegally acquired by the army in 1975. Now they're demanding a review of the transaction that could ultimately deprive them of their place of abode.
In part two, after the break, it's more protests as members of the Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) staged nationwide protests against the continuous killing across the country, asking the federal government to address the insecurity in the land. Please stay with us.